Over the years, officials say the victim was forced to live in a dog crate before being chained up in a padlocked bathroom, then put in a bare room with just a bucket as a toilet.
Yeah, what's shaking, everybody? It's your man J King, the one J King, back with another crazy video. Got a crazy story that just happened recently out here in what is it, South Jersey, not too far from where I'm at here in Philly. A couple was keeping a daughter, was apparently supposed to be keeping their daughter hostage or something like that, held captive. I haven't watched the video. I seen a little bit of the news, of the news coverage on TV earlier. So I just wanted to bring you guys the full story. I wanted to bring you guys the full story, and we're gonna discuss on the other side. One.
Out of the bathroom only when family visited the residence. At other times, she was forced to live in a bare room with just a bucket to use instead of a toilet. She explained the bare room had an alarm system that would alert the defendants, Brandon Mosley, and Brenda Spencer, if she tried to leave.
Damn.
She reported she was beaten with a belt and sexually abused by Mosley. The abuse occurred for years until she escaped the residence on Thursday, May 8th. She was assisted by a neighbor. She later disclosed the abuse, which was reported to law enforcement. What was absolutely horrific. After speaking with the victim, our detectives searched the residence and found that the victim was subjected to living in squalid, filthy conditions alongside numerous animals, dogs, chinchillas, and other animals. Detectives also learned that a 13-year-old young female who lived in the home was also removed from school years earlier at Spencer's direction. Both girls were allegedly homeschooled. For homeschooling in New Jersey, parents are only required to notify the school district of their intent to homeschool.
Yo, I know it's like a lot of these cases and stuff like that. One of the common themes is like this homeschooling thing. And I understand, like, look, homeschooling is sort of like the future, whatever. But the government, the system has to do a better job of tracking, like, who's getting homeschooled and like, the conditions of these people, these kids that they're being homeschooled at. Like, they really see the system is definitely like this. You can't turn your back on these kids. Somebody, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no more school. You're not gonna feed them in school or whatever no more. You get homeschooled and then their well-being is out of your hands. Like, come on now, like the government got to do better than that.
There is no requirements by the New Jersey Department of Education to follow up or to confirm attendance records, minimum instructional time, subjects, or testing. Homeschooling may be the right choice for many families. Unfortunately, it can be used by others as a means to hide abuse.
I just said that.
In this case, both Spencer and Mosley were charged on Sunday, May 11th with the following charges. 1 count of first-degree kidnapping. 1 count of second-degree conspiracy to commit kidnapping. 1 count of second-degree aggravated assault. 5 counts of second-degree endangering the welfare of a child through abuse and neglect. 1 count of third-degree criminal restraint. 1 count of third-degree aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. 1 count of third-degree possession of a weapon for unlawful purpose. 1 count of fourth-degree unlawful possession of a weapon. Mosley was also charged with the additional offenses. 2 counts of first-degree aggravated sexual assault. 2 counts of second-degree sexual assault. 1 count of second-degree endangering the welfare of a child by sexual contact. On Sunday, May 11th, Spencer and Mosley were both taken into custody at their residence in Gloucester Township. Both were remanded to the Camden County Correctional Facility. Their detentions are scheduled for this Friday, May 16th at 9 a.m. in Superior Court.
Prosecutor, can you talk about the escape and how lucky this teenager is to be out of this situation now, and what that escape was like, and how lucky they were that a neighbor was involved?
She was extremely fortunate, extremely fortunate. At this time, we're not disclosing all the details. More details will be forthcoming at the detention hearing on Friday.
Yeah, there was a case several years ago. I think it was up in Cleveland, Ohio, if I'm not mistaken. This guy, he had 3 females, and he had them. The years ranged. There was like the amount of time that he held them captive ranged from like 10 years to like I think 18 or 20 years or something like that. But he had like kids with them and everything like that. He's passed on now. Like, you know, he's not around anymore. But it's the same situation. One of the girls wound up escaping after all them years. They just, you know, she saw an opportunity, and yeah, and managed to somehow escape and get and bring attention to what was going on. That's crazy.
However, she did not want to disclose all this information. She did not disclose this information about being held to this level. We did send officers to the house. The house went at that time on Thursday evening. An investigation was conducted. However, we're limited on the amount of area that we can go and search and whatnot. And without a corroborating victim, there's only so much we could do. We offered her services.
Wait, so she didn't even want to... So basically she was on some no snitching. Wow. So her parents do all this to her, and she still is not willing to speak up. Like, that is crazy.
We gave her some resources at that time. She was looking for homeless services. However, you know, she was going to stay with this neighbor that was assisting. But that all built up into the case that we're here for today. So while we did investigate, we're looking at everything. Believe me, we always want to see that we missed something. This case has been thoroughly reviewed. No information to this level was disclosed to us until that Saturday when they called the police again, which led us to where we are today. Yeah, I can't get into the details of how that happened that night. Further details will be related at the detention hearing and further procedures. But that evening she was at a Wawa with a subject. That's where we initially responded to. You know, officers spoke to her that night. Other officers responded to the residence to conduct an investigation. She was offered domestic violence services, which she declined at that time, and the investigation was turned over for follow-up. But again, she did not pursue. We offered her the services. She did not indicate the level of abuse that was. We later found out when we were called again on Saturday night.
Trying to protect her captives.
I'm sorry, say that again. Yeah, I don't have those details, and I don't believe we're ready to release that.
As you can imagine, anyone who's been confined for a period of 7 years, held in these conditions, living in squalid filth, is going to be damaged psychologically, physically, emotionally, mentally. And as you also can appreciate, when it comes to cases involving child endangerment and child abuse and sexual assault, confidentiality to protect the victims is paramount. So we're limited in all the details. More details will absolutely be forthcoming at the detention hearing.
I don't know the exact, but I do know they were. There were some Great Danes, large dogs, and there was some pet equipment and stuff like that was around. That was for that type of breed, large dog stuff.
Both children are safe right now.
Yeah, like I said, it was for a Great Dane, so I don't have the exact measurements, but they were large enough to fit a Great Dane, which we know is a large breed of dog. No, we're not. I don't believe we're ready to release those details at this time.
So they're not gonna release how. They're not gonna say how she was able to escape.
The children are you referring to? Not that we're aware of, no. Confined, yes. Well, clearly there are flaws in the current educational system. This has been the law in the state of New Jersey for decades. That really is outside of our purview because it's not criminal law, but certainly this case proves there's need to revamp and revisit those laws.
Damn sure is. Every state needs to revisit, needs to, like, you know what I'm saying, take a look at when it comes to like this homeschooling, these homeschooling rules, and, you know, making sure that things are up to par. For real, because this is happening way too much, and using this homeschooling system to mask your true intentions and everything, like as a sort of like a disguise or something like that, to make it seem like, yo, you have your child's best intentions, but really your intentions is to make sure that you do is maximum harm, or, you know, say some extreme, like put your child in extreme danger in circumstances. Nah, homeschooling shouldn't be. You shouldn't be able to utilize homeschooling and get away with things like that.
So we had no indication anything about any child abuse. We had some animal complaints in the past, but nothing to this level. Nothing, no domestic violence types calls that we are aware of. But just barking dogs, which were handled. Again, they were found to be legal and not charged. But those, we've had some animal complaints from neighbors and whatnot.
Do you know how long they've been in
Definitely since 2019. Prior to that, I don't have information at this time, but definitely since 2019.
Not seeing a teenager.
2025.
Is there any inquiry by family members, anyone officially or not, where is this girl? She seems to be non-existent for 7 years.
Not that was brought to law enforcement's attention. I do not know that. I just want to amend one statement. The girls lived in that residence since 2018. I'm sorry, I don't have that information as well.
I'm sorry, I don't know if you're a parent, if you had a chance to wrap your head around this. What is your thought as a mom seeing this? I think most of us would say this is pretty frightening for you.
100%. I am a parent. To me, this is the most abhorrent, heinous crime anyone could commit. You see criminals all over the country doing horrific, horrible acts, whether it's physical or sexual abuse. When it comes like the hands of a parent to a child, there's nothing worse.
You said you found the dog. There were no
I'm not prepared to say that at this time, but it certainly was concerning about the animals' care, again, when we heard this. Also want to just reiterate that at the time that we encountered her on this Thursday night, she's an 18-year-old adult, right? And we're not aware of any of abuse that she brought up to us as a child. So that's why when we say we referred her for domestic violence service, she's conveyed to us that she was having some kind of disagreement or threat from her father that was unable to be proven for criminal charges and whatnot. I'd also just say that we did, as part of the investigation, confirm with Gloucester Township Public School District that they were, in fact, the parents had removed them. The school district has cooperated with us completely, and they followed all the proper procedures. But as the prosecutor said, we're very concerned about this abusive person, this type of abuse happening under the guise of homeschooling.
What law was it?
It's located at 800 Black Horse Pike in Blackwood. No, I'm not. I don't believe we're able to. She was in the Gloucester Township Public School District, though.
Just to be clear on the timeline, from the time from the Thursday to Saturday, she never went back to the home.
I don't have that information. I can't say for sure whether she went back to return or not, but I don't have that information.
Do you know what the motivated them to go to college maybe, or why?
We really don't.
Do you know if the 13-year-old was aware of the abuse of the other?
At this time, we're really not in a position to disclose that information.
Can you describe the alarm system, down the alarm system, or would that be something what kind of an alarm?
As I know, and correct me, the detectives that are handled that are here, as it was described to me, it was kind of like a contact alarm on the door that made some kind of audible alarm sound if the contact broke by opening the door, similar to what you would have on your own home burglar alarm system. Is that correct?
They kept shorty locked up for real.
I'll hang around if you have any more specifics you want to.
All right, just listening in there, very graphic details in this child abuse and kidnapping case involving these individuals there in the Philadelphia area, as we're following very closely the horrors inside of that room as we were learning more information from police as these two individuals behind this, as investigation launched into alleged house of horrors after an 18-year-old victim escaped last week with the help of a neighbor. The victim was told law enforcement that she has been abused by Brenda Spencer and Brandon Mosley since 2018, when she was removed from school and held captive in the couple's home. Over the years, officials say the victim was forced to live in a dog crate before being chained up in a padlocked bathroom, then put in a bare room with just a bucket as a toilet. Also noting there, an alarm system would alert the couple if she tried to leave. She was only let out periodically, including when family would visit. So a very difficult one in a potential house of horrors there.
Man, there's quite a few things to unpack. You got these two parents, this man and this woman, doing this to their own child. What kind of a mother, what kind of a man, father, like, you, I don't even know if he's a real father. Or maybe he's just a boyfriend, so I don't know. But whatever, like, damn, yo, this is like, this what I'm saying, yo, this really is such thing as evil. Like, this is not like a religion. I'm not trying to get into religion. You know, I'm not trying to, like, make this about religion or anything. But there really is a true such thing as evil. This is not something that anybody can do. Like, it takes a special kind of individual, a different kind of individual to commit something like this. I truly hope that these two evil individuals get every bit of pain that they truly deserve. And that they work for. This is what they all the pain in the world, they earned it. Whatever pain comes to these two from here on out, they earned it. They definitely deserve it. You don't want your kids. There's plenty of places that'll take your kids and foster care, things of that nature. This is disgusting, man. Like, I'm gonna try to keep following this story, but let me guys know what you think, man. Like, give me guys' opinions about what about this story. So, see you guys on the next video. I'm J King the One. I'm out. One.